what you were saying, each one of us goes through at some point a personal revolution. And when you were talking about that wave of feminism, I hope you don't mind I cut in to say this. No. But in the 60s, 70s, I feel like all revolutions happen this way. I think you probably know this, that the pendulum swings really far first before it swings back to more of a midpoint. And I think that was definitely true with the feminist revolution. I think when I know a number of young gay men who have come out in the last few years. They're sons of my friends, probably close to your son's age. And they swing that pendulum really far, and they become very dramatic and very, just flamboyant and whatever, because that's what was suppressed in them. Yeah. And I think that was true of the feminist movement.
Well, it created a schism. It created a gulf, a further gulf, as a reaction.
Right.
And but what happened is and the grassroots healing began. Yes. And one of the big contributors to that was the vagina monologues.
Oh, I know.
You know that, and so the women had a chance
she's a good person.
The women had a chance to heal that.
Right.
Through that. That was a major movement, and it spread.
Yeah.
But the men didn't have that. And the reaction of the men, they didn't have it yet.
To feminism, you mean? To that first gulf that was created?
Right. But what the vagina monologues allowed is to women to really go in and establish and see how their sexuality, how their vagina, representing sexuality, has affected every part of their lives. And how strongly that is, powerfully that has been directing everything.
Yeah.
Choices they make.
Yeah. And because it's so important to partner up, pair up, and all of those things are just so involved. But the men didn't have that chance. There was no penile...
No rite of passage that they've had yet.
Not yet. Saying. There have been groups, and especially in California, men's groups that have been working towards that way, but not coming out like in a play form,
right?
Which is important because we must see it out there, not just in a club where and then when you leave it's just like going to church. Right. You get filled up with all these wonderful ideas, and then you go out into the world, and half an hour after you left church, your inspiration is gone.
Right.
And so to have that displayed in a play form was a powerful thing for women that men haven't had yet. So that's one of the other things coming from a theater background.
Yeah.
That's another element that we're working on as far as Peace Production, because to that. Yeah. But it's just part of the essential, how we see it, that this harmonization of the masculine and feminine, which is an old story, the yin and the yang story, but it needs to be modernized. It needs to be brought up to what is happening now, but at the same time going deep in the same place, and to find that core.
Yeah.
And from that core of a balanced, peaceful place,
yes,
have to take it out from that place for the good of all.
Right.
And that's the most important part, because no more me, but people who are afraid, who live in fear,
cling.
They can't let go of whatever it is that
they think if they do, they lose everything. They don't know how much they gain. That's and that's the way it is just in general with love. Can I really give of myself? Can I give of myself to another? Can I give of myself to many? What if I give too much? I used to teach, and I still would like to do this again in my healing circle, this next meeting that we have. I used to do this meditation where I would say, go in, bring the God source through you, bring the universe through you, and imagine how much you have to give. place both hands out into the room and say, this is what I have to give to the world. And feel that, see what that feels like. And now put one hand on your own heart and one hand out into the room and say, now this is what I have to give to the world. And each one of the people in these groups would say, oh my gosh, this feels so much better. This felt so heavy and I was getting exhausted. And it wasn't just like heaviness of the hands or arms. It was heaviness of, oh my gosh, I'm overgiving. It's too much. So there's always going to be that balance of the give to oneself and the give to the world.